Hi, friend. On today's episode of the podcast, we're going to talk about sales. We're going to talk about not only effective, but easier ways to sell your clients your coaching. So when you get them on that sales call, you can call it a discovery call, you can call it an investigation call, you can call it whatever you want. But when you get them on the sales call, what's your framework that helps you sell, but makes you feel not slimy? Isn't that important? I hear from a lot of people, "Well, I'm not comfortable with sales. I don't know how to do sales. Sales is difficult for me." And I understand that you might think you've never done sales before, but have you ever raised kids? Raising kids is a lot like selling. You're selling them on your way of doing things. You're selling them on your values. You're selling them on here's how to be an adult. You can apply it in a lot of different places with other relationships, customer service, and in different jobs. So you have sold before. But I think what we need to do is we need to break it down. So let's think about parenting as the example here. There's when I'm trying to sell a little kid on my way of doing things, I'm usually starting because they're doing it wrong to begin with, right? And so I could come in and say, that's the wrong way to do it this way. And maybe they will. I approached parenting a little bit differently. I approached it with enrolling them in the process and enrolling them in the understanding of what we were both trying to accomplish was going to be a better way to get them to become compliant. If they get what they want and I get what I want in a way that protects their safety, great. So think about that now. Here's how that might look. You walk into a room. I've raised two boys, by the way. You walk into a room and your child is standing on the back of your 4-year-old child is standing on the back of the couch, reaching for something on one of the top shelves of your living room. Okay, very dangerous. Hate this for us. Not at all appropriate, right? And so my approach would be, "Oh, okay, can you get down from there for a minute?" Great. I just I want to have a conversation. This is your sales call. What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to do up there? Well, I wanted to see the picture up on that shelf because it reminded me of that time that Dad took me to the park. Okay, great. Do you do you think that climbing on the back of the couch was safe? No. Could you reach that picture on the shelf? No. There's a lot of other things on the shelf. What would happen if they fell on you? Oh, I'd get hurt. Yeah, and if you fell off the back of the couch, you'd also get hurt. You could get hurt to the point that you could break a bone and we'd have to go to the hospital. Yeah. So, how could we do that different? If you want to see that picture book, what could we do different? I don't know. Well, you could ask me and I could get it down for you. But if you want to see that picture book on a regular basis, the other thing that we could do is instead of keeping it on that top shelf, we could keep it down lower. As long as you put it back in the same spot and you promise not to rip the pages out of the book. Okay. Sold. New way of doing things. I get what I want, they get what they want. But it's a two-step process. I watched a video not too long ago that inspired this podcast. And she works now as a coach, but previously she worked in enrollment of like a special charter school, especially for kids who maybe were on the spectrum or had some additional challenges. They weren't thriving in the schools that they were at. So she was meeting with the parents, and she said, I changed the sales call into two different decisions. One was the decision that they needed to leave the school they were currently at. And two was deciding whether or not the school I represented was correct. This really opened my brain as to this is how I oftentimes do sales calls and have for a long time. Are you ready for the change that you say you want? That's where we're going to use a lot of questions. So think about your clients right now. What's the change they say they want when they come to you? What are the questions you ask to discern how great their pain is, how great the problem is, to define the problem, to really help them go deeper, 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 deeper into, well, have you tried this already? Have you tried that already? Where are you at in this? Tipping point is what another one of my coach friends called it. She said, I like people that are right close to the tipping point. That's that decision. That old way doesn't work anymore. And she goes, and in my sales process, she brings them a little closer to the tipping point. That's what we do in decision number one. Are you ready to stop all of what's not worked for you? If you're a weight loss coach, that might be, what diets have you tried? What workouts have you tried? Now, why do you think those haven't worked before? What do you think? I mean, because obviously, if you follow the diet and you follow the exercise routine, for most people, that's going to create weight loss. But yet you're here talking with me. Why didn't it work? What's under that? What have you realized already? And we start pushing and why do you want these results? What's your goal? No, not what's the size goal. What's the deep inner motivation? And we get it closer and closer and closer and closer. We bring them forward in that emotional experience and we get them to decide that everything that they've tried before, that the thing, and maybe in the process, they don't decide that they're ready to leave. I talk with a lot of people when I am doing a sales call who are not ready yet to stop trying to do marketing on their own. See, a lot of you coaches, that's who I work with, right? A lot of you coaches, you're doing marketing on your own and you're trying this and you're trying that. And I have this program and I got this course that I'm looking at and I have this one more thing and I'm going to give it one more try over here. And you're just not ready. You're not to the tipping point yet of deciding that you're done trying to do it on your own, trying to learn from other marketers. Or maybe, and this happens, right? We get into the conversation and I find out, oh, okay, so you're not ready to actually work on the whole foundation of your marketing. You're looking for a website designer. I don't do that. They're ready to leave behind their old website. They're ready to leave things behind, but they have a picture in their head of what they already want. Bam. Maybe they only need a little tweak. They don't need a full program with me. There's just a couple of little things. And so I can ask them some questions. I can help them. Maybe it's one of my, right, my CSI calls, clarity, strategy, impact, that are only $499. We spend 90 minutes together. We work on that one thing. They don't need a full program with me. Great. So sometimes they're not ready to leave. Sometimes they need somebody else in their life, not me. Sometimes they need not my full program, but a small program. Sometimes they're ready to change it all. They're ready to go deep into who they are, into what they uniquely do, into who their clients are. They understand how I work. They're ready to leave it behind. That's decision number one. Are you ready to leave it behind? That's what you have to help your clients get to first. Now, isn't that what we do as coaches all day, every day? This is why, for a long time, as I've been talking about, I've done other episodes on this about the discovery call. And I say your discovery call, which is a name that I hate because it's unclear marketing and what are they going to discover and do they want to actually discover something? But on your discovery call, you should be acting as a coach first before you tell them anything about your coaching. Give them a taste of it. See where these two things are coming together? This conversation that I've had with you before about giving them a taste of it, and this connection to leaving and discerning what tipping point they're at. Are they ready to make the choice to leave behind the things that don't work? That's where you're in there as a coach, giving them a taste of your coaching. Now, if they're ready to leave it and they've been responding well to your coaching, now maybe it's time to move on to choice number two. Is my coaching the right thing for you right now? And that's where, for me, the conversation sounds a little bit different. I would say, okay, okay, I see where you are. I think you see where you are. If we were to work together, I mean, is it okay if I tell you what it would look like for us to work together and what that would look like, what we would work on? And the person says, yeah, okay. Because I don't ask that question until I know that they're ready to leave the thing behind and we have a little bit of chemistry going. Yeah, okay, great. Now I can tell them a bit about how my program would solve those problems they already just mentioned. Maybe some problems they haven't even thought of that are coming up that I can see. The next thing that's going to come up and the next thing you're going to run into. And then I can sell them my program. I can give them the information. What questions do you have for me about my program, about me as a coach, that maybe I can answer for you at this point? It's two separate decisions. Does that make sense, friend? The first decision you help them make, that's free coaching. You're helping them make the decision to stop doing the things that aren't working, to leave behind, and to discern whether or not they're really ready for that yet. And in the process, discern whether your solution is going to work for them or whether you need to hand them off to somebody else who could serve them better. If they're ready, which you discern through coaching, and there's synergy, which you discerned through coaching, we just give them information about what our solution looks like and then ask them, in addition to what I've already told you, what else do you need to know? And they might ask for price. They might ask for, like, how long is your coaching program? What does that look like? Can you send me some info? Absolutely. I think this, if you take this and you start applying it in your coaching, it's really going to change the nature of your sales conversations. It's going to change the nature, and you suddenly don't feel slimy because you've given them something amazing in step number one. And then you ask them, can I tell you how my solution works? Yeah, fantastic. They're asking you to give them that information. All right, friends. I hope this helps. I hope this makes sales make sense. Let me know. How does this feel different for you? Is this already what you're doing? Is this different than what you're doing? And does it feel different when you think of it in terms of two separate decisions instead of one, I got to sell them my coaching? Talk to you soon.